Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Get a Clue, starring Lindsay Lohan. This is a Disney Channel movie. It features Brenda Song playing her best friend, uh, Bug Hall playing a love interest. These are all career Disney kids, all of them. It's just what's it also Al Mokadam plays Gabe. He looks familiar too. So yeah, there's especially Lindsay and Brenda. They are old school, teenage, and even preteen Disney actresses. Um, this is from 2002, and it sounds like it because yeah, it's an hour and 23 minutes long. It sounds like it because it's got this sort of Blink 182 sounding band singing the theme song. I think their name's Prozac with two Z's. I don't know. Anyway, excuse me. Still getting over the COVID. Uh, so yeah, so we end up with the name doesn't give you any clue as to what it's about. Clue, but it is a bit of a mystery drama with elements of humor, not good elements of humor, not actually funny elements of humor, but it's basically Lexi Gold, played by Lindsay here. She's an Upper East Side debutante type of girl who all she thinks about is clothes and jewelry, and she's super rich, and her and also her buddy Jennifer, played by Brenda, that's pretty much their main interest, except for my ears popping. Uh, okay, there we go. So the two of them, they are just best friends and they're hanging out. But Lindsay, I'm just gonna say Lindsay rather than Lexi. Lindsay is also an aspiring writer, journalist. She turns out she writes an article that reveals that her two of her teachers are having an affair, or not an affair, but just having a romantic liaison. And apparently, a major newspaper that's not the high school newspaper decides to print this story like it matters. And it comes with a picture that she took that shoots from a camera that shoots around corners, apparently invented by her inventor little sister, her little gadgety, geeky little sister, who at some point later in the movie provides them with a number of spy gadgets to help them solve a mystery. Yes, this is already stupidly convoluted as it already, and I have barely scratched the surface. Anyway, the teacher expected the teachers might be a little bit embarrassed. There's a little bit of tension, but suddenly their teacher disappears. His name is Mr. Walker, and he's played by Ian Gomez. If you've ever watched Cougar Town, he played Andy, and he's one of the best things about. I know the show called Cougar Town doesn't sound like a funny or good thing, but it actually is. The title has nothing to do with anything on the show. So, but Andy is easily one of the funniest things about that show, and he's easily the funniest thing in this entire movie. He doesn't have he's not in most of it. He's in a little bit at the beginning and a lot toward the end, but beyond that, anytime he's on screen, he's really really good. I guess I'm biased. I'm used to him seeing him as Andy, and he's hilarious. Most recently, you might recognize him from Supergirl. He had a recurring role on that. But he apparently disappears. They think maybe he's dead. His car shows up in the river. The cops are hunting for him. Detectives are hunting for him. And the kids decide, we're going to solve this mystery ourselves because that's what we do. We're 13. And we're rich kids who suddenly are easily distracted by this. She feels somewhat of a responsibility because she wrote the article and it caused trouble, apparently, that would cause him to disappear. And her love interest boy He isn't as well to do as she is. He lives in Brooklyn, and he plays it off with a very strong Brooklyn accent. Uh, he's on the wrong side of the tracks. And right now, 2002 compared to 2021, Brooklyn is very different. It is one of the more expensive places to live now. Back in 2002, apparently, it's just, where the average people live. Right now, if his mom's still living there in Brooklyn, odds are she's super rich now. If she sold the property, or she's just sitting in a gold mine, doesn't matter. Anyway, the kids search out a bunch of different leads and come across a bunch of different shady characters, and they try to piece it all together. And in the end, it there's a big reason why they find the teacher. I'm gonna spoil that because I already told you that he shows up later in the movie, and he tells his story. I'm not gonna tell you what that is, but they decide to help him, and he's being blackmailed. How they're going to resolve this? Who's blackmailing him? What's going down? Well, it's all happening in this one hotel at a certain place, and suddenly everybody in the movie shows up at this one place at one time for no apparent reason. They give their reasons why they're there in the course of the story, but none of it makes any sense. Like, why would they be tricked into coming there, or why would they, of their own volition, decide to come there? It's all to get everybody in the same place so they can do a Sherlock Holmes or Murder in the Orient Express kind of thing, where they can go, oh, the killer's in the room, or it's not a killer, but the bad guy is in the room, and this is how it worked out, and she uses, of course, her skills as a little rich girl to figure out how and why and everything else. So, can you tell I don't really like this film? It's mostly because I can't tell if it's the writing or the acting that is just atrocious. We know Lindsay can act. I mean, maybe she's not, Meryl Streep, but we know she can act. It's it's either it's really bad dialogue. It's just really clunky. It's it's all sort of forced in there to move. I realize that's what dialogue is meant to do, to move the story along, but it is in the most obvious, unrealistic way possible. And the way they just deliver it, it's seriously, they showed up. Action. Here's some lines I just read. Oh, you read lines? Yes, these are some lines I read. Those lines are good. My lines are pretty good too. That's basically the delivery of this entire thing. You don't believe any of them. So much of it is cliche. Brenda's character is all still obsessed, while Lindsay's becoming a little bit more down to earth and trying to think about things other than clothing and shoes. Brenda's character is there to remind her that she is rich and snobby and above other people in many ways. It's meant to be funny because they're the heroes. You're meant to be sympathetic, and everybody contributes to the story. These 13-year-olds also learn how to spy on adults using hidden cameras and aiming them at windows. That's, and you have to understand this is also 2002, so not everybody's filming with their phone. Nobody's doing selfie stuff. But one of the really interesting things is when we first introduced to Lindsay and Brenda's characters at the very beginning, they're woken up, still wearing headphones with a microphone. It's all fuzzy and whatever else. So that seems like they're seeing the future in a sense, because people wear that kind of stuff when they're broadcasting on Twitch or whatever, things like that. But there's also they get up and they get online. Like, apparently they're rich enough, of course, to have broadband in 2002. Rich enough. I mean, I had broadband in 2002, but still, it's The idea is that it wasn't anything like we have now. So, but they get up and they get on video chat in it like a clear big picture on the screen, not a little, thumbnail box like we were used to back in the olden days. And it was all hand cranked. Um, they they get on video chat and they start showing off each other's outfits. Like, what do you think about this one? This one's cute, but what about that one? And that's how they start their day. And then they meet up at school in their outfits. So yeah, it's sort of like the nascent stages of what we take for granted today. That was cutting edge. Like if you watch that in 2002 and you're like, oh my god, I could have video chat and show off outfits with my best friend before school. That was that had to be like, that is the just the idea that you could do that without it being choppy or blurry or blocky or super tiny it looked like magic. So even just if you just watch it for the first scene, you'll understand that this is definitely meant to be forward thinking, and they captured it. It just wasn't going to happen for at least another five years, at least. So anyway, all told, this is not a great movie at all. You're not going to watch it for the acting. You're not going to watch it for the writing. You're not going to watch it for the storytelling. You might watch it for Lindsay and Brenda, if you're fans of them, or Bud, or whatever his name, Bug. Um, so yeah, or if you love New York, which, if you can't love New York for Friends and other stuff, then you should get a clue. Sorry, I just gave away the end of the movie. The voiceover dialogue from Lindsay. Oh, they just had to incorporate the name of the movie in the final line. It's just wow. It's so freaking trite. I just went as I was watching it. I was just like, no. This is not. No. Don't do that. If you're writing a script, do not do that. I'm just telling you right now. Right now, the most interesting thing about this movie is the font. And it gives you the impression, with this picture and everything else, that it's set in the 60s or something, set in the 70s. It's not that interesting. So, yeah, that's all I can really tell you. I like Ian Gomez. Lindsay's adorable, and Brenda, they're both adorable, but this is definitely a kids' movie for kids who have low expectations for movies, who might identify with girls who have snobby fashion tastes and solve mysteries. Beyond that, yeah. All right, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
564.
Ooh, 564. Way up there. Overshot it. Excuse me. Oh. I'm not sure what this is. We just missed seeing The Greatest Showman. That's 565, but 564 is The Greatest Game Ever Played. We also missed The Great Muppet Caper. We got The Greatest Game Ever Played, and I think that is hunting man to death on an island by rich people. I don't know. We'll see. The Greatest Game Ever Played on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.